And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Now, while all these theatres of conflict are happening in the world, and while the QAnon information is coming out there and keeping people entertained, while there is so much going on, right on the back of it, something else we're seeing in the United States is an interesting push for gun control by the youth of America. It seems the programming is complete in American schools. We have the youth out there protesting that we need gun reform right now and demanding that this happen. These kids obviously have no real concept of what the Second Amendment is all about, and the mere concept that they would be pushing for the balance of power to be shifted so far towards government that they would believe militarized police are the only ones who should be allowed firearms in their country. Well, it just goes a long way to show how well the youth has been programmed through this education system. It really doesn't. Bear in mind, of course, that America is a country which contains 5% of the world's population and 25% of the world's jail population. America has the largest prison population in the history of the world. And this is the country, this is the people that they want to give the police more powers and the government more powers, and they wish to push to remove the people of any ability to defend themselves against the police and to be able to defend themselves against what is coming. And while this is happening, people still believe Trump is their friend. It's quite amazing. And Trump is pushing for this as well. Trump's saying, yes, we need gun control. The other day he was saying we need to take the guns first and worry about due process second. So he's pushing this, the kids are pushing this, and unfortunately the programming of the general population in the United States seems to be almost complete. If the people of the United States ever do surrender their firearms, that will be them giving up the only chance they ever had of removing themselves from the clutches of the criminal catastocracy which is currently in control of their country and in control of most of the world, Unfortunately, the United States is a military machine which is run by the Vatican and run by globalist forces anyway, and it does a lot of damage around the world, but the only people who can stop that military machine are the people of the United States. And if they surrender their arms and they surrender any opportunity that they once had to free the world of the menace that is the United States government, well, that is the puppet show that is referred to as the United States government anyway. It'd be a very terrible thing if the United States surrenders their firearms, and it's very unfortunate to see the youth of America to be so programmed they're actually doing the government's work for them. Back in the 60s, they would be up in arms about this. They would be protesting in the streets and marching against their government. And now we see the youth marching for their government. And they're doing it under the belief that they're actually marching against the government. They're saying, yes, we will march to the White House, we will march to Washington, we will march to the government buildings. And they don't even realise that they're actually doing the government's work for them by doing so. They're not protesting government at all. They're supporting their government. And they are supporting disarming of their population, and unfortunately by doing so they are supporting their own slavery. But then of course you have to wonder how many of them are actually supporting it, because it's been presented by the mainstream media as being a mass walkout of students in protest of all the shootings. But what you hear from the students is that they were actually ushered to go out and told to go out by their teachers, and that many of them didn't know they even had a choice in the matter. They just went with the crowd and went with the flow because they thought that's what they had to do. So much of this is contrived. Anyway, folks, it's all propaganda. Everything you're fed by the media is propaganda, and there's always a higher agenda. And I don't think it's really the kids that are pushing it this much. I think it's just simply what the media has constructed because the government needs to make it look this way. That way the government gets to usher in gun control and disarm the people, and make it look like it was the people's choice to do that, and they actually had to disarm the people because the people demanded that they do. Oh yes, please take our rights away, please take our guns away, make us safe by making it impossible for us to defend ourselves against anything you would like to do in the future. That's going to make it all good. And of course the entire concept is completely and utterly ludicrous. If you want to stop the shootings, the school shootings in the United States, remove the United States of all the alphabet agencies, get rid of the CIA, that would be a good start. You'll see a lot of shootings drop off the map then. Disarm the CIA and kick all the dual Israeli citizens out of the government, you'll find that these shootings will dry up pretty quickly. And if you want to remove the people of the firearms, and you want to remove automatic weapons from the people, then remove them from the government first. And once you've done that, then it may be possible to remove them from the people. But if you're going to remove them from the people before you remove them from the militarised thugs that you have driving around in police vehicles, then you're terminally stupid. And all you're doing is the government's work for them by helping them in the construction of the smart prison system that they are building around the population. And people are really pushing for this, and they simply don't know what they're pushing. They really don't. There was one guy who was doing a live video, a live stream from out the front of a government building somewhere. They had pairs of shoes all over the lawn representing every child who'd been killed in a shooting since Sandy Hook or something like that. 7,000 pairs of shoes on the lawn. I can't particularly see that there's been 7,000 people killed since Sandy Hook, but anyway, that's what I saw on the video. And what I thought was that if you were to put a pair of shoes there for every person who's been killed by their own government in the last century, you would have 262 million pairs of shoes on that lawn, and you would have 262 million reasons why you must never give up your arms and never give up your guns and surrender your guns to government. I mean, anybody who believes that the balance of power should be pushed so far to the right that the only people that are armed in society are militarised police is absolutely crazy. This is absolutely insane to be thinking this sort of thing. Now, there are countries in Europe, I think Sweden, I always get Sweden and Switzerland mixed up, I think it's Sweden, where every citizen is required to own a firearm by law, and they're required to be trained in its use, and there's virtually no gun crime in that country. Now, you don't reduce gun crime by taking guns away. You reduce gun crime by educating the people, and in the case of the United States, I'd say the best way to reduce gun crime, as I mentioned earlier, would be to disband the CIA. But no, Donald Trump has a better idea, as it appears he is making the director of the CIA the new Secretary of State. That's just wonderful, isn't it? We'll put the ex-head of the CIA in charge of foreign policy and running the war machine. That's going to work great, isn't it? Good move, Donald. While this push for gun control is on, that should show the people that you're really on their side. It's just like a sideshow, isn't it, folks? Some of the stuff that they do, I mean, you just can't make this stuff up, really. Like what we've just seen in England with this terrible nerve agent attack against Sergei Skripal. I mean, what an absolute joke, ladies and gentlemen. Like a Russian spy is going to sneak into the UK and use an exotic nerve agent to poison a guy at a pizza store. And this, of course, must be traced back to Russia, and it just shows how terrible Russia is and shows why we need to go to war with Russia. I mean, this is just incredible, folks. I don't know how they get anybody to believe this stuff, really, and whoever makes this stuff up, I mean, you think they could at least think of something vaguely possible and vaguely tangible and vaguely doable. I mean, something that may actually happen in the real world. I mean, not the concept of a Russian spy sneaking in to poison someone with an exotic nerve agent that can easily be traced back to Russia at a pizza store. Then, of course, within 5 minutes of the incident happening, you get Theresa May standing up in Parliament House saying it's very, very likely that it was Russia. Of course, it's just unbelievable, folks, and it shows how desperate these people are. You know, there's really so much theatre going on in the world at the moment that you really should stop and look around you at what's going on beneath your feet. I mean, why do you think they're doing all this? And there's so much, folks. There really is. There's just so much going on. You know, all this posturing in the United States, the posturing against North Korea, the posturing against Russia, all this stuff going on in England, stuff going on all over Europe. It's just crazy. It's just absolutely crazy.